Maxey from outside. Sixers lead, courtesy of Tyrese Maxey.
Deep to left field, going back is Lopastro. It is gone!
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Beef Upfront podcast here on Pick Swap Media. Your host, Ryan Coyle, continuing on today with our NBA Draft Player Profile series. And today's episode will be on a guy that's definitely, we're buying into his potential more so than his production. We're doing Kyshawn George today, freshman wing out of the University of Miami, a real interesting player. He's got awesome length measurables. The talent certainly pops off the page, but he did it in kind of a limited role this year. Didn't put up great overall statistics. So when we talk about guys that we've talked about before, like a Zach Edey or someone more established, like a Donovan Clingan, people like that, you know, they made a significant impact at the college level. Tyler Coyle, throw him in that conversation as well. Significant impact at the college level. But what will they really be kind of in the NBA? The production is there, and we look at that and we're like, okay, we see that, but do they have kind of the long-term traits, long-term ability to make it as a significant player in the NBA? Kyshawn George is kind of in the opposite regard, where it's like he showed some flashes, he showed potential, but when he's on his game and you could see like he's still young, a player coming into his own, he could be a really special player one day. So this is a definite roll of the dice type of player compared to some more of the safe guys that we've talked about with like a Donovan Clingan, with a Reed Shepherd, with a Dalton Connect. But the upside is here to be, you know, at the end of the day, one of the 5-10 best players in this draft class with that talent that he has alone. 6'7", 205 pounds, from Switzerland too. Interesting note on him, but played his lone freshman year at Miami, played in 31 games this year. Only averaged 23 minutes per game. So like I said, played in a bit of a more limited role than some of these other guys that we've talked about. Shot 42.6% from the field, but shot 40.8% from three as a 6'7" wing. And he played a lot of like point guard too, had the ball in his hands a lot. We'll get into the full breakdown, but 3 rebounds, 2.2 assists, a steal per game. Only averaged 7.6 points per game. So we're going to go through a couple player notes on him, but his role was kind of weird, I think, especially too for a guy that's getting NBA draft buzz. Like you think, especially for a struggling Miami team this year, he would have got some more light, found some more time in the rotation. But when he did get a chance, he played really well and was looking like a kind of a special player. Some player notes on him: only recorded 12 games out of the 31 that he played in. He reached double figures, but that kind of goes hand in hand with only playing 23 minutes per game, not really getting the longest leash, the most opportunities out of these guys. But he like I said, didn't have a huge role on this Miami team, only averaging 23 minutes per game. And he only had 5 games where he attempted double-digit field goals, but he scored in double digits in each of those games. So every time he kind of got the opportunity or a longer opportunity to go out there and play, he made the most of it. He had 15 games, though, where he knocked down multiple three-pointers, so 2 or more threes. And as we talked about, 6'7" wing that could shoot the ball at 41% from three. Those are pretty impressive numbers, and something that's going to make, you know, GMs and front offices kind of raise their eyebrow and be like, okay, we could work with this. And he did it on he made 1.7 threes per game on 4.2 attempts. So even in those 23 minutes, he was still able to get up a pretty decent volume of threes there. But we'll get into the total evaluation on Kyshawn George out of Miami. First and foremost, he just looks the part of an NBA wing. And this is a guy that we've talked about you're buying into based off potential and what he showed kind of in flashes in Miami. And hopefully he can make that into a full-time player at the NBA level. But he just looks the part of the NBA wing. The length, the height, the athleticism, I think, too. He fits all those kind of buzzwords, the descriptions of these elite NBA wings that we've seen in the past. He's a late bloomer, though. I read he grew 10 inches in the past 5 years. So a guy that played the guard spot really most of his life. And that showed up at Miami because he was tasked with playing point guard a lot for that team and had the ball in his hands a lot. But now he's 6'7", 6'8", maybe even grows a couple more inches because it seems like he's got that type of frame where he might even have a few inches in him still. And can he get better? Can he continue to grow? with those guard skills that he already has and the ability to shoot the ball, he could be a pretty scary talent down the line. My question is with him, the talent is there for sure, but on a bad Miami team, why didn't he have a bigger role? Was it kind of just maybe some immaturity concerns? Maybe he just wasn't fully ready for the college game. Does that mean he'll be able to make the jump to the NBA game? Miami just might not have been the greatest spot for him, but a Miami team that didn't even make the tournament this year and had a real up and down year with some injuries, why didn't George have a bigger role is kind of one of the questions that I'm sure teams have really dug into throughout the draft process. But his frame, his movement, he just looks like he belongs to me. He looks like he belongs on an NBA floor and kind of just has like a smooth way about going to his game. He's got really good range on that outside shot that he shot 41% from three with. And when he's able to shoot at that size, which sticks out to me the most, that I think is going to be his offensive calling card at the next level. I think he, as of right now, at least, he's going to struggle to get to the rim at a high level. He's like a good athlete, a solid athlete, but he's not an overly explosive. Like, you're not giving him the ball and telling him to go break down opposing teams. I think he kind of plays a little bit of a slower pace, but that give that credit to him as well. I mean, as a young guy playing in the ACC as a freshman, he played at a good enough pace to let that kind of the game come to him. But right now, I think he's going to be tasked with, playing some good defense, using that length on the defensive end and knocking down any three that comes his way. He's not going to be asked really to create for himself, but I do think he's good enough with the ball and in ball screens to kind of create for others. But he's not an overly explosive athlete, which kind of worries me about turning the corner and getting to the rim on some of these better, more athletic defensive guys. Lacks some explosion. So that offensive calling card at the next level right away, at least, is going to have to be that outside shot. But he seems very confident when shooting from deep. He showed the ability to use ball screens to pull up as well. If guys got caught behind or whatever, he was able to pull up. If guys went under the screen, he was able to pull up. And he showed on several occasions, whether it was a catch and shoot or off the bounce, he's very comfortable pulling up from deep. Like, he doesn't really shy away from that, and that kind of goes hand in hand with him attempting a little over 4 threes per game and only 23 minutes per game. But the more I watched him, the more I'm impressed with the ability at 6'7", 6'8", whatever you want to call him, to pull up from deep. He uses his long strides, though, I think, and his length to his advantage when getting to the rim. As I was saying, not overly explosive athlete and not going to be a guy that's, turning the corner and punching one on you. But he does kind of use a little bit crafty style with those long strides and those long arms to get all the way to the rim and finish. Really good at the catch and shoot, and you can tell he's super confident in that shot as well. Good off dribble handoffs too. Several occasions where a dribble handoff to him on the wing, guy got caught underneath or he didn't fully chase. George was able to just stop, pop, and fire from three. So automatic asset to his game to be able to get on an NBA floor as soon as next year as he continues to kind of round out that game. Real comfortable with the ball in his hands. He's just one of the prospects in the draft, I think, that if you're going to take a swing for the fence, he's one of these guys. Like, I won't be surprised if, 2-3 years, we're like, oh, whatever happened to him, whatever happened to Kyshawn George, is he out of the league? Or he's, a perennial, number 2, number 3 piece on a really good team. Like, I think the talent is there and the shooting ability. They don't make 6'7", 6'8" wings that just fall out of bed and shoot 40% from three. But that's going to be a very attractive thing, and you just kind of got to hope to coach him up and develop some more parts of his game. Hope he becomes, a real defensive-minded wing as well. But I think he has legit star potential, 6'8" wing that can handle the ball, shoot the ball. Might take a few years, but I think this guy has it. So definitely, in my opinion, a boomer bust prospect. But as he continues to add strength and improve that athleticism, I think with the 3-point shot and his God-given abilities, he can do some stuff that you really can't teach. So very interesting prospect. I think definitely first round worthy. If he stuck up into the lottery, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think he's that talented. My comparison for him, I don't know if he'll ever be this good, because Tyler Hero averages about 20 points per game in the NBA, but a taller version of him. Hero, not an overly explosive athlete, but really good at shooting. Off the bounce, he's comfortable with the ball too. So a taller version of Tyler Hero, maybe not the 20-point per game score, but in that kind of 14 to 15 point per game range. I could definitely see him being a third, at worst fourth option on a really good team in these next few years. But this is one of the guys that, if you're willing to take a risk on potential and you value that over the production that we've seen at the college game, Kyshawn George is your guy. But that'll do it for my breakdown on the Miami freshman draft. Less than a week away now. As always, everyone, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and we will talk soon.